happy you all are here on our channel. You should see the videos in their whole and comment at the ending of every one of them. The description contains more films that we have available.
When a property is called the House of Death, you know it has a heartbreaking tale. The structure matches the other Revivalist Greek Brownstones in one of New York's prettiest neighborhoods. Built in 1856 on West 10th Street in Greenwich Village, the House of Death has hosted many of the city's brilliant and beautiful, including the wife of Metropolitan and Broadway Underground Railroad founder James Boorman Johnston. Johnston founded the 10th Street Studio, a unique New York City collaborative featuring studios, galleries, and yearly financing for resident artists, as well as a reading area and library. In the 1880s, his affluent widow relocated their daughters into the House of Death. The house's renown appears to have grown gradually after the Boormans left. In 1897, ill luck first appeared. Cycling legend Fred H. Andrew, the new owner of 14 West 10th Street, was unlucky. According to the New York Times on August 9, 1897, Andrew struck an 8-year-old kid during his residence due to reckless bicycle riding. Andrew was arrested when the youngster shattered his leg. The house's most famous resident was Mark Twain, a mustachioed American literary great near the end of his career, yet at his peak. Only 3 years after Fred H. Andrew, the cyclist, began a run of ill luck, Samuel Clemens, a.k.a. Twain, lived in the House of Death. The residence housed Mark Twain for about a year. In bankruptcy, he wrote some of his hasty yet legendary masterpieces. His tragic mustache didn't help his sadness. Despite being a ghost skeptic, Twain described a definite paranormal encounter at his new house. He saw a huge chunk of wood kindling fly by itself one evening. As anybody would, he shot the rat, thinking it was moving the wood for a new piece of furniture. It dropped with a few blood drips. No infestation was reported in the home, even though rats outnumbered humans in New York. Twain said the blood was rat, not ghost. Despite his negative recollections of the building, Twain may be seen walking the Building of Death stairway. His face has been seen walking up and down the stairs, the home's most haunted area. He may be responsible for disembodied marching noises heard throughout the house's vacant areas. The late 1930s saw a Twain encounter. The West 10th Street mansion became a co-op with 10 large condo flats by 1937. One of a new resident mother and her daughter met Twain's spirit on a window seat following the building's makeover. He casually approached them, saying, "My name is Clemens, and I has a problem here I gotta settle." 3. Soon after, he vanished. He did not reveal his urgent money issue. Its tragic money may prevent peace. It's also unclear why Mark Twain, who died in Danbury, Connecticut, not the New York mansion, appears here so frequently. In 1957, Jan Bryant Bartell and her daughter moved into a large top-floor apartment. The renowned actress, psychic, and writer moved into the servant's flat. Bartell soon saw a monstrous moving shadow following her throughout the home. She wrote of seeing a phantom guy in a hall. She bravely touched what she saw, feeling a substance without substance, unlike anything she had felt previously. Cold, damp, as thin as marsh mist or ether, the tips of my fingers froze. Though numb, they tingled. Scent arrived between touch and recoil, lax and fragile, sweet, too sweet. 5. This was one of the strange and unpleasant odors the Bartell family recalled detecting at the House of Death. Food they didn't buy and decaying from being around for days would materialize at the table. Their numerous little animals would sometimes attack without explanation, as if startled by phantom foes in the building. Bartell, a fervent believer, hired a paranormal expert 6 to examine what was generating these horrific realities for the inhabitants. The investigator validated the couple's first suspicions. The investigator reported over 22 ghosts at the House of Death. Beyond Mark Twain, he described a white-dressed lady, a girl, and a grey cat. Bartell wrote a book on her psychic paranormal encounters at 14 West 10th Street. In Spindrift, Spray from a Psychic Sea, she eloquently describes living in a possessed home. The novel has garnered many positive reviews, and its flowery wording depicts a lady on the borderline of our world and another. Bartell reports visions and unexplained home noises, a Spindrift cover excerpt. As in 10 Little Indians, home fatalities started. The first victim was Jan's beloved dog, Penelope. However, she learned of the first tenant's death within 24 hours. Whether from heart attacks, suicide, or murder, the deaths were swift. With 9 tiny Indians gone, the Bartells fled Greenwich Village in horror. The haunting persisted. After Spindrift, Jean Bartell became 10th. 7. Bartell died mysteriously soon after finishing the text. Depressive bouts and suicide rumors plagued her. Her demise confirmed the dreaded House of Demise mythology. However, many doubters remain since New York has numerous unresolved fatalities. One occurrence left few skeptics about the house's status. New York City experienced a catastrophe at the House of Death on November 2, 1987. Hollywood horror films would explain Lisa Nussbaum's murder. At 6:40 a.m., children's author and editor Hedda Nussbaum called 911 operators urgently. She called an ambulance to her Greenwich home because her 6-year-old daughter Lisa wasn't breathing. Paramedics found a frightening scene. Lisa was nude and unconscious on the kitchen floor, while her brother Mitchell was confined to a playpen and urinating. Nussbaum had bruises and damaged bones. 9 marijuana, cocaine, hashish, over 20 crack pipes, and $25,000 cash were found in the flat. Paramedics failed to resuscitate Lisa Nussbaum on the route to the hospital. She died from recurrent skull blunt force trauma, according to her autopsy. Hedda Nussbaum and Lisa's father, lawyer Joel Steinberg, were arrested for first-degree murder. Joel Steinberg was accused of assaulting Lisa and his wife following a cocaine binge. Hedda Nussbaum testified against Joel Steinberg to escape charges. A jury condemned him to prison for second-degree manslaughter. Joel Steinberg abandoned the law and worked in construction after his 200410 release. The House of Death was home to a monster like the Amityville Horror House. House of Death events spread to nearby homes on the street. Residents of the apartment building next door reported flickering lights and a ghostly woman in a long robe along a hallway. She was seen drifting through doors by a local photographer for over 20 years. Elegant and well-proportioned, the mansion hides its dread. The iconic brownstone at Washington Square in Greenwich Village is full with tragic, terrifying tales about the numerous individuals who have left their souls in the building. These anecdotes underscore the cliché that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The structure is now privately owned and adds to the House of Death's paranormal folklore of hauntings. Many spirits still materialize on the dark and broad old steps of the stairway.